So I've come to a very unfortunate and unsettling conclusion about a part of the reason we as African Americans sometimes struggle to get justice in the United States of America. And a part of that reason is because we as a people cannot get on one accord about what justice is and what justice looks like. When we have opportunities, moments where we can collectively rally and make an impact, I think sometimes we, particularly as men, we sometimes don't seize the moment the way that we should. So when videos surface of Joe Rogan repeatedly using the N-word come to our attention, and they're being spilled all over social media. And again, we're talking about the N-word with a strong ER on the end. Also in that video is Joe Rogan comparing Philadelphia to Planet of the Apes, right? So when this comes out, you have all of these ridiculous side points that have nothing to do with the actual conversation at hand. You have people talking about whether Joe Rogan is racist or not, which is irrelevant. It's pretty much, it has some significance, but it's not what this is about. You have people, content creators, talking about, oh, you could bring me on Joe Rogan's podcast and, you know, and he can let me, we can call each other that. Like, hey, there's no problem. You have people like Israel Adesanya, who defends Joe Rogan as a loyal friend would, but then goes on to say, you know, yeah, that's my nigga. That's my nigga. That's my nigga. And I'm just going to say for the record that was wrong. Okay. It would have been better for Israel Adesanya to have said nothing at all. And I'll tell you why, right? Just like from a logical perspective, you can have your opinion, you can have your feelings, but let's just talk real. Okay. If you understand that, first of all, Joe Rogan didn't call nobody a nigga. Okay. We're just going to keep it 100 now. Since we're already in it, we're in it. He used the word nigger. Okay. If Israel Adesanya or any other people don't understand this, there are no Black people who refer to one another as niggers. That does not happen. Okay. And when you use it with a soft A and when you use it with an ER, those are two completely different words. They're understood and received to Black people completely differently. Okay. First of all, so Israel, you're dumb, bro, because he didn't call anybody a nigga. If he had used it like that, it probably wouldn't have been such a big deal. But when he's using it with a strong ER, okay, it's reminiscent of the days of slavery in America, right? Now, I'm just going to say this and I'm going to leave this guy alone. You're Nigerian. You know, all of the native African people I know are very respectful, okay? And this is why I said this is one of those issues where for Israel to just say that and defend Joe Rogan in that way shows that he doesn't really give a damn about how the Black community is going to perceive what he's doing. He didn't even think twice to say, damn, maybe I should think about what I'm about to say right now so as to not offend the Black people who are my fans, right? The Black people who support me because, number one, I'm Black, and number two, a lot of Black people rock with me. Maybe they don't feel how I feel about the situation. Maybe the historical significance of me trying to okay this is greater than me wanting to express my feelings right now. So maybe I should just be quiet and show respect. Israel didn't do that. Israel did not do that. No one is saying that Israel is supposed to have, you know, came down on Joe Rogan or anything like that. Again, it's not even about Joe Rogan. Okay. And this is the foolishness. The foolishness of Black people is we can't get on one accord. You know, when Whoopi Goldberg said what she said about the Jews, okay, it was wrong. Okay, here's the thing about freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. No one cares. You can say whatever you want to say. But people also have the right to respond according to the things that you say. See, there's certain things that are, even though you can't say them, are kind of off limits. And if you say certain things, there's going to be consequences to those actions. So yes, you have the freedom to say it, but it doesn't mean that you are not going to have to sometimes pay a price for the things that come out of your mouth. Case in point, Whoopi Goldberg. You can't speak about oppressed groups of people with histories of being killed. Okay. You just can't speak about it in that way. It's unacceptable, and it's offensive to that community. Right. So when Whoopi Goldberg says what she says, no one cares about whether Whoopi Goldberg is racist or not. No one cares that Whoopi Goldberg has all these Jewish friends and she supported Jewish people. No one cares. Why? Because that's not the point. The point is that what you said was offensive to this group of people who have historically been marginalized. Therefore, you're out of bounds. Penalty, throw the flag, 15 yards, sit down, right? This is what you have to do now. There's a price, a consequence for certain things that you say. But what do black people do? What do black people do? Joe Rogan says these things, and black people get to defending him. Well, is he, he's not racist. He's not racist. So that must mean it's okay for him to say this. How backwards black people think, like some black people and non-black people. We start getting caught up on these mundane talking points. It's not about Joe Rogan. It's not about if he's racist. That's so stupid. That's dumb. that has nothing to do with the offensiveness of his words. His words were offensive. So if his wife, his kids could be black, it doesn't matter. What you said was out of bounds. There's no excuse for that. So now we're looking for an excuse to validate the offensiveness of his words. He compared Philadelphia to the planet of the apes, but it's laughable. See, this is why I said from the beginning, a part of the reason why we as black people don't get justice is because, excuse me for saying this, but oh man, I'm not trying to cuss on here, but we can't, no one can take y'all serious. I can't, Israel, you're a clown, bro. For the words he said, that's clown. That's cap, bro. That's clown shit. That's clown behavior, Mr. Adesanya. And we got so many black clowns. It doesn't mean that, you won't pull a gun and shoot somebody, or you won't hurt somebody or knock somebody. It's not about that. It's that politically, you don't understand. Like, you don't get it. So you're weak and divided, and you allow everyone, you're like everyone's little toy. Everyone's using you for their own advantage, and you're prostituting yourself to these people for a bag, for some acceptance, whatever. It's dumb. It's stupid. Meanwhile, here the people are still suffering, voiceless, from a lot of black men, black male leaders. We don't have any. I mean, we do have them, but it's just not how it was back in the 60s, obviously. But now let's proceed with this conversation. Let's take this a step further. Okay. We've talked about the N-word, the way it's used, so on and so forth. By the way, I don't condone black folks saying and calling one another the N-word, even with the soft they on the end of it. I think it's time that we kind of move past that. But if it doesn't mean that I would never say it again, it just means that it's not something that I can't even remember the last time I've called somebody that. I just don't, like, in like conversation. Even my best friends that I grew up with, like, it's not, I just don't. I don't have a need to use the word, right? Now, should white people be able to use the N-word, even with a soft A or whatever? Should white people be able to use it? And the best way that I can explain it, I can't say, like, the best way I can explain it is like this. Okay, this is the clearest parallel that I can draw. Okay, I grew up in California, so I grew up around a lot of Hispanic people. Okay, a lot of like Mexicans, like people from Mexico, first generation children of immigrants. And there is a word that some Mexican Americans use to jokingly talk to one another. And that word is paisa. Paisa. If you've never heard it before, it's a term. You should look it up. So paisa can be used in a form of endearment when two Mexicans are talking to one another. But that word is not appropriate at all for a non-Mexican person to use that word to refer to a Mexican. Like I would never, even though these are like my friends, I would never say that to people who I even overheard calling one another that. I'm not going to go up to them and talk like, because it's not my culture, right? Paisa actually means, like in some senses, it means wetback, which is a derogatory term about somebody who crossed the border illegally. That's basically what we're talking about, okay? And Mexicans can call each other that. But if I or you, if you're not Mexican, call someone that, or someone that you don't know, you call someone that, that's out of bounds. That's disrespectful as hell. But guess what? I'm not the police of Mexican culture. I don't get to sit here. And this is the pathetic nonsense that I hear from, I'm just gonna be honest, from Caucasian people, okay, Caucasian males. Well, if they can say it, then why can't we say it? And we should be able to say it if it's, bro, the same way I'm not the police. I don't own the Mexican culture. I don't own Mexicans. I can't tell them what to say. That's their term. That's their culture. That has nothing to do with me. Why am I concerned about what they're saying? That's not my thing. That's their thing. It's not, it's so out of my place to even begin to tell them, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't call one another that word. And, you know, I mean, if I can use it, then maybe you can continue to use it. But that's bullshit. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. So that's the clearest parallel that I can draw. Is like, listen, white people, hey, no disrespect to y'all, but I just think some of y'all are like not thinking about this the right way. And you don't get to tell Black people what they can say or cannot say. It's just that simple. And everything that pertains to Black people does not necessarily pertain to you. You don't have a green light to just tell Black people what to do, what they can say and what they can't say. It's not yours. It's not your culture. You're not Black. Why are you trying to police what Black people can and cannot say? You mad because you can't use it. But you can say it. Say it if you want to. But again, there may be consequences to saying that. And that's what you have to be ready to deal with. And honestly, I don't even understand why someone who's not Black would even like, you know what I'm saying? But now we know that that word is more of a cultural phenomenon. And that is thanks to the sellouts, again, that we have in rap. Rap have kind of taken that word and spun it and made it a cultural phenomenon. And that's why I don't even get involved in that type of culture anymore. I can't get involved in that because it's too slippery. And I can't, like back in the day when I was a young man, let me tell you how we dealt with people like that. Okay. When I was a young teenager, right? We didn't let non-Black people throw around the word the Nigga. We didn't let people do that. If we heard somebody, even if you was with us every day, you could be with us every day, and someone uses that word, you're getting checked, bro. Like it's not like you're getting hit, but someone's going to say something to you. And if you don't get it, it's going to be discipline afterwards. It's just that simple. Like there's no green light for you to use that, because you got to understand this, right? In certain cultures, there's certain terms that are used as like damn near like a battle cry or like a war cry, like a rebellious word that's derogatory that we turn into something positive. So this is how crazy it is. And I got to take y'all back. Like I got to take y'all like to the real, right? Y'all understand that a lot of what we call soul food today, okay, is actually the scraps that slave masters did not want, right? But the people who happened to be slaves at that time period, even the scraps that these people were given were better than the everyday crap that they were eating. So it became like damn near a delicacy to them. But you understand how unhealthy this is? I just heard Joe Biden talk about how Black men have the highest rates of heart disease and all these other problems. Y'all better go spend 15 minutes 3 times a week in a sauna, but that's another conversation. But a part of that is what? The legacy of slavery. We inherited unhealthy things, such as a lot of what you would consider soul food: pig feet, hog necks, and chitlins, and all this crap, chicken feet, and what? Like y'all think this is a delicacy? That's the stuff that the masters and all them folks didn't want. They didn't want that food, so they gave it to the slaves. That's the real history of it. So what I'm trying to explain this to you guys is that as African American people, we received some dysfunctional garbage, and we try to spin it and turn it into something that would give us a sense of like pride and ownership. And I ain't mad. I'm just saying that's what it is, because that's where we come from. That's where we come from. So with that being said, this term of endearment, as I said, it's a rebellious term that is used to stir up the people, and rightfully so, because that is our collective experience as African Americans. We all understand that. But when somebody from the outside, especially a white person now, wants to try to like throw the word around, do all this and that, bro, you're playing on a slippery slope because of the historical significance of it. You see, like people think that like, oh, this was 400 years ago and 375 years ago. Let me tell you a little story about me. My father was born in 1927 in Beaumont, Texas. I'm getting personal now. 1927, Beaumont, Texas. Rest in peace, my father, and God bless his memory. God bless him. So my father told me when I was a young boy that when he was a teenager, he had a shoe signing business in Texas. And he told me a lot of stories about things that happened in Texas, very bad things that used to happen to Black people in Texas that he saw, that he was a part of. 1927. Okay, now, he told me that he had a shoe shining business. Boom, he's shining shoes. One day, a man disrespected him, referred to him as a derogatory term. My dad confronted the dude, a scuffle ensued. My dad hit the guy. My dad's a boy, 16-year-old boy, right? Hits a grown man, grown white man. My dad said to me that by the time he went back to his house, that his family had already told him when he got back that people came there looking for you. So we suggest you flee this area for your safety. Call it what you want. I can't judge it. It is what it is. But my dad fled because y'all do understand that they were lynching, killing, and pillaging Black people at that time. We're talking about like 1950s. This was still going on. But we act like, oh, this is 300 years ago. And all y'all are out of touch. See, so these are the stories that I'm a young man. And these are the stories that a lot of other Black people can tell. Talk to a Black person who has an elder, someone who's great from the South in particular. Bro, they gonna all have stories for you. All of them have stories. So this is, it just gets to a point where it's like, yo, if y'all don't get it by now, you're not going to get it. So we have to politically position ourselves to get what we want and to force what we want and to bring it forth, because ain't no more time for asking. We're telling. And that's what it has to be, because asking is getting us tokens and all these little side little deals. It's getting money to companies to diversify instead of just giving the money to Black people. They're going to give the money to a company to diversify. I'm going to leave it alone. But this is what I will say. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get out of here for real. You know, anytime the conversation of reparations comes up, things get really funny. People start doing some really funny tap dancing. Okay. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Do you guys understand? Like, who would you compare African Americans to in terms of suffering? Right. Do y'all understand that slavery lasted in America? Like, I think at least like 270 something years in America. Right. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions. Well over six figures of millions of people were killed during the transatlantic slave trade and the journeys getting to America. We're talking about the complete destruction of a group of people. Then when you get your freedom, we inherit all these other set of problems. Like, this is all documented history. You guys understand what redlining is? Do you know the history of the police? You ever heard of the paddy rollers? Have you ever heard of the paddy rollers? See, you ever heard of redlining? Like, it's like people don't see what is in plain sight, and it's just trying to sweep the reality under the rug. No more of that. See, no more of it. So Jewish people received reparations. I believe it was like 700 billion or something like that from Germany. To this day, every year, Jewish people who were a part of the Holocaust receive a stipend, receive money from the government. The United States supports Israel through and through, financially contributes to them. See, it was a collective group, really America and its allies, who came to help the Jewish people, right? When they were in trouble, when they were in need. Now, I'm sure America had its reasons for dealing with the Jewish people that were beyond just them trying to do the right thing. And I think if Americans are honest with themselves today, the same is true with African Americans. Like, America has very good reason to support reparations and the repairing and the healing of Black people, because you can see clearly that for the most part, Black people just want to be like, a lot of Black people don't want to be looked at any kind of way. This is why a lot of people don't make videos like this. They don't want to be looked at any kind of way. They want to be your friends. They want to just be accepted. They don't want to stand out. They want to just be cool. We're a peaceful, peaceable people. We really are. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. And so that's what most Black folks want. So what I'm saying is that America has always had a friend in Black people. See what I'm saying? So it's to America's benefit to show respect. It's in America's benefit to take the step to really heal Black people. Because, see, this is what Joe Rogan got to realize about his apology, and like America and this apology. Bro, don't apologize with this. No, brother. No, none of that. You got to apologize with some action, bro. You got to apologize for real. And you got to apologize with your mouth, obviously. And then, you got to show it. You got to show it in the things that you do. Right. So what we're saying and what I'm saying is that America's quote unquote apology for slavery, in my opinion, and not just slavery, but the whole atrocity and the way that it's dealt with African-American peoples, in my opinion, their apology to me has been it's always been to the benefit of them. It's never just been, okay, look, 40 acres and a mule, right? Not like saying that literally we should get, but hey, that would be cool. But what I'm saying is 40 acres and a mule says, listen, this is yours. I owe you this right here. Like, what you do with it is on you. Okay. I'm not here to police what you do with it. I'm not here to tell you and try to control the way that you receive reparations. It's not reparations with a string attached. It's simply here. This is my way of trying to acknowledge that I've harmed you. And hey, this is a token of my apology, a token, not some backhanded deal where, okay, if you come over here, I'll give you this. Nah, bro, that's not sincere. That's not sincere. And I don't care what nobody say, we deserve sincerity and we should fight for it. We should. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that. And I think if we do fight for it, we'll win because we're owed it. And I think that the majority of people understand that. And we're at a time in 2022 when people have the mental thought process to say, you know what, that's right. Like that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? And if people don't like that, whatever, we're going to make this wrong right. Okay. Because to this day, that hasn't happened. So this covers everything. This covers it all. America has a rich history of reparations given to different peoples for the atrocities that they faced. And we don't want a month. We don't want a street. We don't want all this other crap. We want reparations. We don't need all this other crap. See, this idea of, okay, we'll just find the good ones, find the bright ones and bring them in and include them and integrate them into, no. Like that, yeah, that's cool. We're going to do that either way. But no, what you need to do is give them the money, help them to formulate a sub-government within our government that we can use to create a panel to give the money to so that they can disperse it to the people. Let them do with it as they please. And God be with you. And in this way, in my opinion, that is how America stays true to the ideals that it professes. This is how when they say, okay, under God, you know what I'm saying? All these other things that are being said that America claimed to stand by, you know what I'm saying? Liberty and justice for all and all this other stuff. This is how you actually live that. Don't just talk it. Don't let it just be, these people over here and, the black people, that was their ancestors. That was, nah, bro. That's not liberty and justice for all. That's not liberty and justice for all. You can look to this day and see the impact, the lasting impact of discrimination and slavery on Black people today, on Black people today, on Black communities today. And if you don't understand that, then you probably should do a little bit more research and a little bit more history, understand a little bit more history locally and nationally on America and its treatment of Black people. Redlining, gerrymandering, not gerrymandering, but redlining. It's a big, big deal. Nonetheless, I'm done with it. I would love to hear y'all comments on this topic of discussion. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Tell me what y'all think. Until we chat again, it's Urban Politics, and I'm checking out.